So let's get into our critical thinking exercise of the week. Put on your thinking caps. Let's get it. All right. This week's critical thinking lesson exercise is around why Palestine. Okay? Why Palestine? Now, when we look at what's been going on with Palestine over the past several decades and what has been going on with Palestine since October 7th, we see that there has been a heightened level of protest. This is quite obvious, and it is global.
Descendants from Holocaust survivors, we were taught never again. My grandparents were German Jews, and it's happening right now with the U.S. funding it. And I am going to fight every day until Palestine is free.
After Israel shattered the truth, killing over 400 people, including women and children, New Yorkers are out in full force to demand an end to the violence.
No more Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free.
Want to stop the bombing by the United States all over the world. We kill all over the world. We cause death and destruction all over the world as we are in Gaza today.
Americans need to know that bombing is a war crime. You to know that I listened to our U.S. representative in the Security Council today, and all I heard were lies. She's lying about Hamas and how this war started.
If you bomb sleeping children as they did last night, you are a Nazi. My view is that the IDF has become a Nazi organization. They kill like Nazis. They don't care if it's a child. They don't care if it's a mother. They don't care if it's a grandmother.
Okay, so we just saw videos of protests all over the nation. We also saw protests in France, in Stockholm, in Italy, and lastly, we saw protests in Jerusalem. Okay, so you seeing Israeli people being attacked by Israeli police officers. Now, today, Benjamin Netanyahu has come forward to say that the ceasefire is done definitively, that there will be no further efforts to negotiate. He said he will be negotiating with firepower. They are going to make a final attempt at this point to really eradicate the people of Gaza. So, with so much going on in the United States, and everybody is being touched in some way, whether it's about Doge, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare on the hit, on the fritz, whether it's about ICE and immigration. Now you're seeing that the DEI of it all is going down. They literally just took down the page that Jackie Robinson, a page on the website that says that Jackie Robinson was a part of the military. So we all see that the tentacles are stretching out to everybody. However, Palestine continues to remain a driving force for people's energy as it relates to resistance. Then Mahmoud Khalil, a Columbia University student, here originally on a visa, but now as a permanent resident with a green card, who is married to an American citizen who was 8 months pregnant, was abducted from his home and disappeared to Louisiana, where he is awaiting his fate. He wrote a letter, and I'm going to read you the letter that he wrote from ICE detention. My name is Mahmoud Khalil. This letter was written March 18th. My name is Mahmoud Khalil, and I am a political prisoner. I am writing to you from a detention facility in Louisiana where I wake to cold mornings and spend long days bearing witness to the quiet injustices underway against a great many people precluded from the protections of the law. Write down any words in this that you don't know. Who has the right to have rights? It is certainly not the humans crowded in the cells here. It isn't the Senegalese man I met who has been deprived of his liberty for a year, his legal situation in limbo and his family an ocean away. It isn't the 21-year-old detainee I met who stepped foot in this country at age 9, only to be deported without so much as a hearing. Justice escapes the contours of this nation's immigration facilities. On March 8th, I was taken by DHS agents who refused to provide a warrant and accosted my wife and me as we returned from dinner. By now, the footage of that night has been made public. Before I knew what was happening, agents handcuffed and forced me into an unparked car. At that moment, my only concern was for Noor's safety. I had no idea if she would be taken too, since the agents had threatened to arrest her for not leaving my side. DHS would not tell me anything for hours. I did not know the cause of my arrest or if I was facing immediate deportation. At 26 Federal Plaza, I slept on the cold floor. In the early morning hours, agents transported me to another facility in Elizabeth, New Jersey. There, I slept on the ground and was refused a blanket despite my request. My arrest was a direct consequence of exercising my right to free speech as I advocated for a free Palestine and an end to the genocide in Gaza, which resumed in full force Monday night. With January's ceasefire now broken, parents in Gaza are once again cradling too small shrouds, and families are forced to weigh starvation and displacement against bombs. It is our moral imperative to persist in the struggle for their complete freedom. I was born in a Palestinian refugee camp in Syria to a family which has been displaced from their land since the 1948 Nakba. I spent my youth in proximity to yet distant from my homeland. But being Palestinian is an experience that transcends borders. I see in my circumstances similarities to Israel's use of administration detention, imprisonment without trial or charge, to strip Palestinians of their rights. I think of our friend Omar Khatib, who was incarcerated without charge or trial by Israel as he returned home from travel. I think of Ghassa hospital director and pediatrician Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya, who was taken captive by the Israeli military on December 27th and remains in an Israeli torture camp today. For Palestinians, imprisonment without due process is commonplace. I have always believed that my duty is not only to liberate myself from the oppressor, but also to liberate my oppressors from their hatred and fear. My unjust detention is indicative of the anti-Palestinian racism that both the Biden and Trump administrations have demonstrated over the past 16 months, as the U.S. has continued to supply Israel with weapons to kill Palestinians and prevented international intervention. For decades, anti-Palestinian racism has driven efforts to expand U.S. laws and practices that are used to violently repress Palestinians, Arab Americans, and other communities. That is precisely why I am being targeted. While I await legal decisions that hold the futures of my wife and child in the balance, those who enabled my targeting remain comfortably at Columbia University. Presidents Shafiq Armstrong and Dean Yarmimilo laid the groundwork for the U.S. government to target me by arbitrarily disciplining pro-Palestinian students and allowing viral doxing campaigns based on racism and disinformation to go unchecked. Columbia targeted me for my activism, creating a new authoritarian disciplinary office to bypass due process and silence students criticizing Israel. Columbia surrendered to federal pressure by disclosing students' records to Congress and yielding to the Trump administration's latest threats. My arrest, the expulsion or suspension of at least 22 Columbia students, some stripped of their BA degrees just weeks before graduation, and the expulsion of SWC President Grant Minor on the eve of contract negotiations are clear examples. If anything, my detention is a testament to the strength of the student movement in shifting public opinion toward Palestinian liberation. Students have long been at the forefront of change, leading the charge against the Vietnam War, standing on the front lines of the civil rights movement, standing on the front lines and driving the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. Today, too, even if the public has yet to fully grasp it, it is students who steer us toward truth and justice. The Trump administration is targeting me as part of a broader strategy to suppress dissent. Visa holders, green card carriers, and citizens alike will all be targeted for their political beliefs. In the weeks ahead, students, advocates, and elected officials must unite to defend the right to protest for Palestine. At stake are not just our voices, but the fundamental civil liberties of all. Knowing fully that this moment transcends my individual circumstances, I hope nonetheless to be free to witness the birth of my firstborn child. So I ask you all, why Palestine? And that is your assignment while I am gone. I want you each to find, and here's the thing. I know that some people say, because it's the convergence, and I understand that. But what I want you to do is I want you to pinpoint specific things that Palestine brings attention to and expound upon that. So if it's about money, then I want you to talk about or write about how money, as it relates to Palestine, makes Palestine a centerpiece focus for protest. As we watched the protest videos, I took notes on the different things that people were referencing. Cultural responsibility. We saw Jewish people that are in Israel. We saw Jewish people that are descendants of Jewish folks that were a part of the Holocaust in Nazi Germany. We also saw veterans for peace, cultural responsibility. Criminality was also mentioned. This is against the law. What they're doing are war crimes. We also saw the concept of, in Mahmoud's letter, immigration mentioned as a tool. We also, in Mahmoud's letter, saw the use of anti-Arab sentiments, anti-Muslim sentiments used as a tool. So what my challenge to you is to either make a 3 minutes or less video, and or to write a paragraph on how one of these things makes Palestine a continued centerpiece of resistance. It's lasting longer than Black Lives Matter. It's lasting longer than Occupy Wall Street. It is also global. So I want us to do this exercise because it helps us to consider how these aspects relate to other places and spaces of resistance. It allows us to figure out how to tie things together. This is the critical thinking of it all. The comparative analysis, the comprehension. So the assignment is, I want you to find a specific thread that is attached to Palestine, pro-Palestine resistance, and expound upon how that specific thread relates not just to Palestine, but to other issues that could be drawing people to this space. Does this make sense? Let me know. If not, I will expand and expound. But ask me a direct question that you want me to expound upon. I'll wait. While I'm waiting, I'll be singing Scooba-Doo-Ba-Ba, a skee-bee-dee-dee. While I'm waiting, I'll be talking Shabba-Doo-Ba-Ba, Scoo-Da-Ba-Doo-Dee. Yes, Seraph Synergy, we played that yesterday on the show. Ski-bee-dee-dee-ba-ba-boo-ba-doo-day. This is my whole music. Ska-doo-da-da, ski-da-dee-da, squaboo-doo-da-da, skoo-da-dee, ska-da-doo-dee-dee-da-da-da-doo-dee-dee-dee. I purposely didn't write it out. Take notes. I purposely didn't write it out. Take notes. Ski-boo-doo-da-ba, boo-tee-da-tee-da-da, squad-doo-dee-da, ski-dee-dee, ba-doo-dee-da, bee-ba-doo-ba-ba, I haven't gotten that part yet, Judy Moody. Ba-da-dee-dee, ska-da-doo-da-doo-day, ska-da-doo-da-doo-day, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, da-da-da-da-da, ska-da-doo-da-doo-day, squee-dee-da-doo-day, skee-bee-dee-dee-da-doo-day-doo-day. All right, so what is your question, Sweatshirt Shorty? If you want to make sure you're doing the assignment right, what is a question that you want to get clarity on? Ba-da-ba-ba, be-da-da-da, skoo-doo-da-da, skoo-da-da-da. Well, Olivia, that's fine. You can replay the episode. Squee-doo-ba-bow, ska-da. There you go, girl. Ska-da-dee-dow, da-da-da-da-dow, ba-boo-ba, ba-da-dum-be-dum-de, squad-da-dum-da-doo-day, ya-da-dum. Oh, can you rewrite it for me, Sweatshirt Shorty? I missed it. Ska-da-dum-da-doo-day, wee-dee-dee-dee. Okay, so Adrian asks, can we make multiple intersections or just stick to a single intersection? What I would like you to do is to stick to one, because that one will have multiple intersections within it. Okay, so let's use Congo, for example. If this assignment was applied to the Congo, then we could use uranium as the mineral as a reason why folks would be focusing on the Congo. So then once you dig into uranium, you start looking at, well, what does uranium actually make? Then you look at what are the countries that are using what uranium makes. Then you're going to look at, well, what do those countries, how do they interact? Are those countries interacting in a positive way? Are those countries interacting in an adversarial way? How does the way that those countries interact affect their constituencies, affect their citizens? You can also look at, okay, how does uranium affect the way that the U.S. is spending money? You see what I'm saying? So there's a whole intersectionality around that. Do-do-dum-dee-da, do-do-do-do-do. So I say things because I want to challenge you. Yes, it is going to be hard to write this in one paragraph. Can you write a paper? No. We need to be better at conciseness because we live in a time where people have short attention spans. So we need to be better at being able to get our points across in a quick fashion. People don't have time to do all of that. People don't have time, and people don't just have short attention spans because of, the social media, etc. People also have short attention spans for exactly what Mona Shalabi was talking about. Here in the United States in particular, people don't even have time. People don't even have time. Mando, I didn't ask you to add, to edit what my question is. No, it's not why Palestine for you. That's not the question. The question is why Palestine. It's not the assignment is not why Palestine for you. That's not what the assignment is. The assignment is why Palestine. Why is Palestine specifically a garnering force for a global movement that has continued to exist even beyond other things that are happening in these communities? There's no minimum and maximum of sources. And it doesn't have to be formal. The reason why I'm giving this assignment is because we need to become better about talking about things like this in an informal way. It's not going to be always a scenario where you are speaking to people who are going to sit down and read through it and make it make sense. No, they're not. We need to be able to speak to each other. We need to be able to stand up in spaces and speak quickly and succinctly and get the point across. We need to be able to do that, and that is a skill that we are losing and that we don't have. So, Brainpower says, is there a way to get clarity on how Israel is both a play on special interests between nationalism and colonialism and Europe's play in lending support to the West while also leaning into global fascism? I genuinely don't understand this question. You don't need to cite your sources. No. Ross said, Amanda out here giving out master's thesis points. LOL. She said, y'all can't chat GPT this. No, you cannot chat GPT this. So what I want you to do is I want you to make these, and then you're going to email them to this email. Hold on. Sorry. Sorry, 1 second. So what you're going to do is you are going to email this site, but you're not going to email your assignment to this site. You're going to email this site, and then you're going to get, you're going to email this site with my assignment, and you're going to put your YouTube name. Because then I'm going to check and see if you're a subscriber. And if you are a subscriber, this is how I'm going to help vet trolls. And if you are a subscriber, then I will send you a link where you can upload to a Google box. Okay? Now, is there anybody who wants to volunteer manning the email box to confirm that people are subscribers? It needs to be somebody who's already a member of the SEAL Squad. Is there anybody who wants to do that so that you can take that off of my back? Let me know. And if you do want to volunteer and you are a member of the SEAL Squad, send me a message in the Patreon. Okay, let me look back and see if I missed any questions. No one's asking you to answer the question right now. I see people answering the question in the chat. That's that's not what we're doing right now. Okay? That's not what we're doing right now. A question with 12 statements, confusing. Then don't do the assignment. The question is not 12 statements. The question is one statement. The question is one thing. Why is Palestine a source for convergence in global resistance? Pick one reason why Palestine is a source for global convergence and prove it in a paragraph. I'm not sure what's difficult about that. Demonstrate the intersectionality of that one reason. That sounds very basic. Okay. Oh my God, I'm making this a homeschool assignment and I'm going to see what we come up with. Ooh, fun. Nia says, I was feeling down before watching the show today, but Amanda Laters and Seal Squad, I thank you. Yay. Yes. Oh, you late to class, Truth Sharub. You got to catch up. And so I know that people are in the chat are like, I think we should, and you can do that on your own time. This is a very specific question. Okay? This is a very specific question. And I see people putting stuff in the chat, and that's beautiful. I'm not going to bring it up here. So, just like, yes, Ross, I love you making these connections. Just like Nicholas said, he's speed sketch and speed painting. So Amanda got us on program now. Yes, this is incredibly, it's a challenge that I give to you as somebody who has had to learn this skill. I have had to learn how to speak my thoughts in a concise, succinct fashion. And the beginning of that is being able to do that without pressure. And then you're going to need to learn how to do it under pressure. And we'll do exercises around that as well. Miss Seals, are you asking us to explain, to quote Denzel Washington from the movie Philadelphia, talk to me like I'm a 2-year-old? That would be, yeah, you can do that. You can do that. The submission deadline is by Saturday, March 29th. The condition that submission deadline is Saturday, March 29th. Okay. So understand that if you submit a video, your video will be played if I feel like it's up to snuff. And same with your writings. So that Monday show, the 31st, will be all about answering this question. Okay? Han Solo was referring to, oh, okay, got it. And so shout out to Julie Smith, who says she's always learning something new here. Yesterday, I learned how the Irish ended up populating police forces. And today, my brain is swirling with ideas for the assignment. We love it. Yay! Correct. Exactly. So, yes, I like this idea, Disco Kitchen. It's like an elevator pitch. You know, I remember one time being finally connected with Queen Latifah, and I was trying to get funding for a one-woman show that I was doing. And she was like, listen, you need to learn how to say what you're doing, say what you need, and say why you need that person's help in 30 seconds. That is what you need to do, because she was like, the people who can help you don't have time. They don't have time. And so 3 minutes is generous. As a stand-up, a lot of people cannot even get 5 minutes together. The other reason that I want you all to focus on this is because the truth is a short route. There's a lot of pontificating that goes on. There's a lot of extraneous, oh yeah, we doing all, and it's BS. The truth is a short route. So I want you to challenge yourself. Okay? I want you to challenge yourself. Concise. We call it not being precious. We call it killing your darlings, is what we call it. When you're editing, you really ask yourself, if this isn't here, would it undermine? Would it lose the depth of what I'm trying to say? And if the answer is no, let it go. Let it go. Okay? So, submission deadline, Saturday, March 29th. The assignment is why Palestine? And you are being asked to focus on one reason why Palestine has become such a strong centerpiece for global resistance and expound upon that reason and its intersectionality. Why? Some of the suggestions: money, cultural responsibility, criminality, immigration, racism, discrimination. Okay? Sandy Parker reminds you, remember, you have to email the address on the screen. You have to email the address on the screen. I'll put it right here again. You're going to email the address on the screen, and then you will get an email for the actual assignment to be submitted. We first need to verify that you are a subscriber. We do not want trolls allowed. Okay? So shout out to our moderators, Elijah, Sandy, and Rolando, who do so much work here, keeping this a safe space. Sharing links with y'all, etc. It is absolutely a village and community that we are building here. All right? It's absolutely a community that we are building here. In either video form or a paragraph. Now, your paragraph doesn't need to be 3 sentences. Okay? You can have a little bit more oomph to that. But I just want you to have a thoughtfulness about length. I want there to be brevity. I don't want there to be extraness. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to be pointed and make every sentence count. Challenge yourself to make every sentence count. No throwaways. And when you're asking yourself, how do I know if a sentence counts? The sentence either elevates the point or it advances the point. It either elevates the point or it advances the point. I'll use Coming to America as an example because it is a show, it is a movie that has no extra lines. Every line in Coming to America either elevates the comedy or advances the story. Every single line. Judd Apatow films don't do that. No fluff. Elevate or advance. Anything else is pointless. Elevate or advance. Okay, so that is your assignment. I know y'all gonna miss me. I'm gonna be out of here. I gotta work. I'm really looking forward to finishing this book. And when I come back on Monday with my book finished, I want a celebration. I want pats on the back. Enjoyed laughing and learning with you. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell your friends. Also, listen to the podcast. It's available everywhere pods are casted. Listen ad-free by subscribing to Patreon Amanda Seals. Come on and join the Seals Squad. Views from Amandaland. Live 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Wednesday, with content on Thursday and Friday at YouTube Amanda Seals TV.